Hey, what's up guys? So I've come out this afternoon. The forecast was actually looking not very fancy at all. I got home, the wind looked okay. I thought no one else was home, everyone was out. I thought perfect, there's my opportunity. So I'm going to sneak out for an hour or so, see if I can get some fish. It's Wednesday afternoon. As you can see, it's actually looking all right. There's a bit of a front forecast to come through later tonight, early tomorrow morning. So this is probably my last chance to get out for a few days. I love to get out just before these fronts push through. That's when the snapper tend to fire up. So, oh, sun's in my eyes. That's when the snapper tend to fire up. So what I do today is, even if I don't catch any fish, I'm just going to run you through everything I do from start to finish pretty much. So what I've done now, oh, hang on a minute, let me show you this. Okay, see that water slopping around in the bilge? Yeah, that's what happens when you don't put the bungs in. So luckily, I slipped the boat in off the trailer. It dawned on me as soon as it hit the water, I went, oh, the bungs. I dived into the boat, tied it to the jetty, dived in, reached over the back, stuck the bungs in. So it's taken on a bit of water. There's a bit sloshing around in the well down there. My bilge pump's taking care of the stuff underneath in the hole down below, so that's all right. It's not really gonna bother me too much. So what I'm doing now is basically I've pulled up near where I'm gonna fish. I'm going to get my anchor out, ready, unhook it. My anchor's held on by 2 security chains to make sure it stays where it needs to stay when I'm travelling. So I'm going to unhook that, straighten out my pick. Meanwhile, while I'm doing that, my boat's drifting around a little bit. I get to have a bit of a judge of which way the drift is going, which way the boat's going to drift. So I know when I put my anchor in, I know whereabouts to anchor so that the drift is going to put me right on the spot. So at the moment, I'm just going to go and get my anchor sorted. I don't know if I'll be able to hold this camera and do it one-handed, so I'll get back to you once I get the anchor sorted. Yeah, that's not really going to work. Right, I'll put the camera down. So here's the bummy I'm going to anchor up on. Just comes up out of 12 metres, pops up to about 9. You can see a bit of fluffy stuff on the inside edge there. So I'm going to aim to anchor so that I go backwards onto that bommy. So I'm going to get the anchor in now before I'm talking. That's a disaster. So basically the way I do it is I go downwind of the spot that I want to anchor on. So I'll go downwind of the spot where I want to anchor, and then I'll come up over it, heading straight into the wind where I think the wind's blowing from, straight into the wind, wait till I get just over it, and then I'll drop the pick there, and then I'll try to back onto the spot. It's not always easy. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. Sometimes I have to have a couple of shots at it until I get it right, but generally I'll get roughly in the sort of range where I need to be, close to the actual bommy or the ledge or the edge that I'm trying to anchor on top of. So I'm just going to tie off here, hang on. So I'm pretty close here. There's a couple of cray pots, I don't know if you can see them, just there and over there. There's a couple of cray pots, and I knew where the spot was, sort of near the cray pots. Again, I've got to be far enough away from the cray pots that a good fish that runs is not going to tangle me around the cray pots, because that's always pretty awkward as well. So anyway, that's me. The anchor's in, so I'll just wait for the boat to settle a bit, drop back on the anchor, and then I'll move on to my next step. Next step is that there, IGA cooked chicken. My wife bought this last night for dinner. Me and the kids picked over it, got everything left, so all that's left is the carcass and all the juicy stuff. That's going straight into the burley pot, and that's going to be my burley for today. I don't know, cocky, ambitious, or just don't really give a crap, I don't know. That's all the bait that I brought out with me tonight. I think there's about, I don't know, maybe 10 muleys, probably 10 muleys if I'm lucky. I figure that's all I'm going to need. I'm only going to be out here for an hour till the sun sets. I'm going to cut those in half and use half muley baits, only fishing 2 rods. I reckon that'll probably be enough for me tonight. If it's not, it's not. Bad luck, I don't really care. I caught some fish last night, so I'm only out here just to enjoy. Just have a look around. It's just an awesome night, mate. I don't really care if I catch fish or not. just being out here. I'm happy just being out here, having some time to breathe, having some space on my own, so I don't really care if I catch fish or not. So that amount of muleys is going to do me for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the GoPro in this mount at the back, so I don't have to keep holding on to it because it's a bit of a pain in the backside. So for me, my first step always is to get it right in the water. So I haven't even bothered to put these in holders yet. These are all laying on the floor from last night. It won't fit in my shed with the rod standing up, so I lay them down. So straight away, a hook, straight through the eye of the muley, and then back in through the body of the muley, and that's it right there. A hook in half a muley. That's all I ever use. Works for me. I don't know. Other people like other baits, big baits, herring, full loaded baits, whatever. That's what works for me. That's what I use. It's cheap, it's efficient, that's what I use. So I've cast that out roughly 10, 12 metres because I know that's about how deep it is here, and put it in a holder, and that's it. The drag, I know the drag set last night because I caught a good pinky on it last night and I haven't touched the drag since. So I know my drag's ready to go. And then I'll work on getting the second rod out. Tell a lie. First of all, I'm going to put some burley in the water, get some burley cranking. So there's my leftover chicken, straight in the burley pot with that. It fits. Bit of a shove, old faithful burley plunger. Oh, that's already loosened its lovely chicken goodness into the water there. Beautiful. So another very important job, get the net. Have the net set up, ready to go. You don't want to be fighting around getting your net ready. So now I've got to rig this one up. So I'll run you through my rig while I'm here. It's pretty simple. I've just tied. Don't throw your line in the water, guys. Throw it in the boat, put it in a bin when you get back in. I've just tied a double uni knot, my 20-pound braid, straight onto a bit of 30-pound Nitlon fluorocarbon leader. That's it for me. I'll give it maybe a metre, probably a metre of fluoro, and then I've got a 6.0 suicide hook, straight on, 6.0 suicide hook, just tied straight on like that. And that's pretty much my rig. So then I've got the back half of the muley like that. I just put the hook through the meaty flesh like that, do a half hitch over the tail, pull it tight, and that's another bait right there. So I'll whack that one out. Bang, 2 baits out. Job done. Now all I got to do is sit back, enjoy the sunset, and wait. Check my baits every so often, make sure the pickers aren't pulling my baits to pieces. But pretty much from now it's just a waiting game. Just keep that burley going, pump the burley every, I don't know, my burley pot's pretty efficient, flows out just from the swell, but I'll give it a pump every 5 minutes or so just to make sure it's going, make sure it's flowing out. I'll just keep an eye on the water. If I can see burley, then I know I'm alright, don't need to pump it. If I can't see burley, give it a few crunches. I always keep one eye on the water. You never know, you see gardies, skippy, herring, Samson fish, you see all sorts of stuff. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen big pinkies mooching up the trail, and I've sight cast straight to pink snapper, so always keep one eye on the water. But yep, but pretty much from now on it's just a waiting game, putting in the time and waiting for your burley to either do its job. I don't believe that snapper hang around any particular areas. Everyone says to me, oh dude, you must have good spots, where's your spots, blah blah blah, spots. It's not about spots. I think snapper move around a lot. I think snapper are all continually on the move. It's either they swim past you and they smell your burley, or they don't swim past you, they don't smell your burley. So it's kind of, there's areas where they're going to be passing through a lot more often than others. But as far as one spot holding snapper, another spot not holding snapper, I don't really believe in that. I've caught snapper in some ridiculous places, fishing for bait and squid in close off the beach and caught them. I just think they're passing through. Again, either they smell your burley or they don't smell your burley. It's that simple. So basically, now I just sit back and wait. There you go. Handful of chicken pellets too. I always have a big container full of chicken pellets on board. They just make good burley basically. They sink to the bottom really quick. Some of the other burley floats away a lot. Chicken pellets go in and they sink straight to the bottom and burley up under the boat, which is always handy. So always a handful of chicken pellets just to kick things off a bit. Just show you my burley trail. I don't know if you can see that in the water down there. Just lots of stuff floating on down. Tender morsels of chicken. I don't know if snapper like chicken or not. I've got plenty of snapper using chicken for burley, so I'll keep using it. It's nice and greasy, it's oily, leaves a good slick. Like I said, I've caught snapper using it before, so I don't think it puts them off. I'll just use whatever's handy. So just again, I'm tying a double uni knot here. You can use an FG, Albright, whatever suits you. I'm going with a double uni because I'm lazy. Because I'm lazy, and I think double uni is just as strong as anything else on this lighter sort of stuff. Make sure you pull it nice and tight. I seem to have a continuous slice on my finger, continuous braid cut in the joint of my finger there from pulling knots tight every couple of nights. I keep opening it back up, it heals. I pull a knot tight, open my cut back up again. It's sort of just something I've got used to living with now. Again, I'll just use a metre, probably about a metre of fluorocarbon, 30 pound. Tied straight to like, I think this one's a 6.0 suicide hook at the end. Some people like to use snells. I'm not a big fan of snelled hooks. Yeah, they make their mark, they do the damage. 2 hooks are better than 1, I guess they say. Hook-up ratio is good, but if you want to release fish, 1 hook's easy to get out. That second hook sometimes tends to wrap around, get the gills. A fish that's got a hook through the gills has got less chance of surviving than one that's just got a hook in the mouth, so I just use singles. I find my hook-up ratio is not too bad. Yeah, I'll lose a few, but I'm willing to accept that. I'd like to release fish in good condition. If you're going to release them, you might as well be releasing them in decent condition, so singles are the way I go. Again, some people use circles, some people use octopus, some people use gamakatsu. It's all up to you. Individual preference. What works for me works for me. What works for you might be different altogether. I fish unweighted. Some people like sinkers. Personal preference. I like it unweighted. I just think it's a more natural presentation unweighted. This could actually turn out to be a real shit video if I don't catch a fish. But anyway, I've showed you what I do, so that's the one thing that's out of your control. Biscuits. I've always got a biscuit barrel under the seat there too. Always pays to have a bit of snack if you're hungry. Tupperware container with a couple of bag of biscuits. Always good. If my kids don't eat them all first. I think I might have a squid here. It's got that real squiddy sort of feel to it. Oh, it's waking up. No, it's a fish. It's a fish. I don't know what it is. Oh, I've got a feeling it could be one of those big long snook looking things. Pain in the ass snook. Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass snook. stick. Look at that. Big snook. Not a big fan of these things. They steal your baits, they shred your leaders. Just an all-round pain in the ass. If they fought like a barracuda, they'd be good, but they just don't fight. They're just like a wet sock. Anyway, he can go back. Yep, here we go. Fish. Oh, it's not huge. I was just starting to think that that snook was going to be all I caught, which makes for a pretty poor video. It's a snapper, but it's not huge. Oh no, it's a skip. Oh yeah, it's a snapper. Oh, there you go. Shows you the system works. There's a pinky. It's not the big boy I came out here for, but it's a snapper all the same, and I'll take it. It shows you that my system works. It's just time. Basically, I'm out here paying my dues. It's reward for effort, guys. You got to put in the effort before you get the rewards. This is the third night in a row I've been out. Last night I did alright, got 2 good pinkies. The night before I blanked out, got nothing, but you know, like I said, I'm out here, I'm having fun, I'm doing what I want to do, so reward for effort. You got to keep putting in that effort and eventually the big fish will come. This guy's not one of them. He's going back. I'm going to whack out another bait. Probably give it another 10 minutes and then I'm going to bail. Go home. It's starting to get cold out here. The sun's gone down, and with the sun goes the temperature. That's the downside of this winter fishing. The sun goes down. Things get pretty chilly. Well, at least I caught a snapper. Anyway, that's it for me. Sorry if it was a bit of a boring video tonight, guys. I just thought I'd run through my system, show you how I go about things. I've been asked by a few guys how I do things, so that was a bit of a rundown how I do things. The fishing obviously wasn't red hot tonight, but I'll try to do a bit more instructional stuff. That's what people are asking for, so I don't know, I'm new to this whole thing. I never really expected to be making YouTube videos, to be quite honest. It's sort of something that's crept up on me. I'm here, I'm doing it. People are liking it, people are asking me questions, so I'll keep doing it until people tell me to stop. So if you like my stuff, don't forget to subscribe, stay tuned. Hopefully next time there'll be a big fish on the menu. Yep.